Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, readers of all persuasions. Welcome back to my channel, Books Uncorked and Caffeinated. It is I, Gayla, here on a Sunday morning doing my first book haul of the year. But there's a caveat to that. I have been buying books. This is not my first book haul, but this is the first book haul I'm doing on my channel. One of my last videos of last year, I talked about my last book haul of the year, and then I put I think. And that was sure enough the truth, because I think I bought a couple of more books before the year ended. But these books were much later on in December, so I'm going to present them in this book haul. And this book haul is everything I bought generally since January. So we're going to talk about all the books. And it's a lot of books. I'm a little ashamed and I'm a little not. But I don't care, because I'm a book reader. And like I said before, I'll be doing this if I had a channel or not. So it is what it is. But most of these books are continuations of series that I wanted to get into anyway. Or they were books that were coming out and I didn't realize they were coming out around the same time. So it is what it is. So we're going to continue with the book haul. But today's cup is brown sugar. It's the same coffee that I had in my last video. The Hawaiian coffee that I got when I went to Hawaii this summer. That's really been carrying me through the week. I haven't started another bag of anything, so it's really, really good. I'm still using my brown sugar creamer from Trader Joe's and all the things. And so, yeah, this is the cup of the day. To be totally honest, I probably can use a different cup every day for about a month and a half. If I'm honest with myself, 2 months, but we're not going to go there. So let's get started for what you came here for, the book haul. So the first book I'm going to present, it was bought on December 20th, or delivered December 20th, around that time. And it was a book, it's really a serious book. I got this book from a colleague. Well, it was my mentor stepmother, who was also an educator, who's retired. And we were just talking about books, education, teaching, and all of the things. And this book came up across, and I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. And it's actually something that, dealing with what we're dealing with now in society is kind of like pointed. And so I wanted to get into that. It's called Complicity: How the North Promoted, Prolonged, and Profited from Slavery. That is quite interesting. So this is probably going to be an interesting read. I'm sure it's going to be interesting. It's not super thick or long, but I'm sure it packs a punch. So this book was bought at the end of December. And a book that I also want to mention that I got during that time was when Barnes and Noble were having their half off of hardback books, hardcover books. And this book, I was going to get whether it was half off or not, because I just like this author, E.B. Zaboy, Nigeria Jones. I wanted this book regardless. And some backstory to this, I worked with her husband. Her husband and I used to teach. And I remember when I first met Mr. Zaboy, I was like, oh, he's super cool. He's that, that black man that all the black and brown boys needed in education. And then I knew a little about E.B. Zaboy. Like, I was starting to get into her books. And one day it clicked. And I said, is E.B. your wife? And he was like, yeah. And then she was coming to the school, a part of a literacy program that we were doing. I fanned out. My kids were like, what is wrong with you, Miss Gilman? I was like, you don't understand. She's E.B. Zaboy. Do you know what she does? And she has all these YA books, but I love her books. And my favorite book by her is titled Pride, because it talks about her experience of growing up in Brooklyn and Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy. And that is so my experience. So when I got to meet her in person, I was psyched. And she's a beautiful person. He's a beautiful person. Like, this couple is wonderful, but she's a great writer. So I would have bought it either way. But this was, I think, the very last book that was sent my way during the month of December, during that time when Barnes and Nobles had their half-off sale for hardcover books. So that was technically the end of December, the books that I bought. So let's start December. Let's start. I bought this book on January 3rd. I will say it came from Amazon. Don't come at me with that. I have a lot of books from Amazon. And it is what it is for right now. It's titled Trust Yourself, Stop Overthinking, and Channel Your Emotions for Success at Work. And this is the book. It's also by LMSW. I'm also a licensed clinician. And so anytime there's something that is for my profession or to enlighten me and for my growth as a professional, I'm always into it. And I heard good things about this. So, yeah, that's one book. And that was kind of like the start of my new year. I haven't read it yet, but this was like the start of my new year. And then on January 11th, ironically, my mother's birthday, these books were purchased, and I think I did an in-store purchase. And this was also a part of 50% off hardcover. And these are African artists. So the first one is Sweetness in the Skin. I want to say Ishai Robinson. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but I got that. And then I had another one, I.B. Dyer. I'm so sorry if I'm saying this incorrectly. And So I Soar. I'm so interested in both of these books. And they both got a comment by Charmaine Wilkinson, who wrote Black Cake. So Charmaine, Miss Wilkinson said, an uplifting story of friendship and sisterhood amidst seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And for Sweetness in the Skin, she said, delightful, this tender at times humorous coming-of-age tale celebrates the flavors and languages of Jamaica. So this one is about a Jamaican, I think this is the African artist, and this is the Caribbean artist. So I got those on January 11th, which was my mama's birthday. Then we move along to January 23rd. This was when my books came in from Amazon. So it was quite a few here. So I'm going to go through them. So Meditations for Black Women, 75 Mindful Reflections to help you stay grounded and find inner peace. And this was a part of she has a journal, and then she has a daily affirmation one. So this was the meditation one. So I'm kind of a completionist when it comes to books and series. And so I wanted to add this to it and be a part of my daily meditations, which I do every morning anyway. Then I read this book already, and I presented it, I think, in a short or my last video, The 12-Week Year. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. This has already been read. This was the start of my new year. When I Think of You. So I was going to buy the second book, and I think I bought it. I don't know where it's at, or did I order it, or it's on back order or whatever. But she's a new author to me. This was like a TikTok sensation. And so since I was going to order the second one in the series, I said, well, you got to read the first one first. So I ordered that, When I Think of You. I heard it was a cute romance, and like I always say, I'm a sucker for Black people on covers. Then Taj McCoy, Savvy, Shelton Feels Good as Hell. This is also a part of a series. I have the other book. I really can't think of it in this moment. But she's also the author of the Dating Playbook. And this is also about plus size love. That's also why I like her as an author. She really represents plus size Black women, and I love it. So I got that. The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. She's also on my list of books and authors to read this year. And so this was also a part of the series. I got the first one. This is the second one. I think that's what it is. And so I completed that with buying this. And then last but not least for that day, a short story, The Handmaid's Wedding. I talked about this also. I didn't realize it was this short. I didn't realize it was a short story. So, yes. So this is also on the list of books that I'm reading this year. I have a lot of books that I'm reading this year. My book challenge was 25 or 30, I believe. and mainly because they're thick books and I want to read the entire series. Like I have like 7 series, like 3 books. That's a lot of reading. And I also do my audio books during the week to and from work. So I'm going to get to the 30, but I want 30 other books, the meaty books that I want to read. So that was January 23rd. Okay. And then January 26th, I stay in the bookstore. It's ridiculous. But this is funny. This bookstore, or what has come to my bookstore, is the Dollar Tree. Every time I see a Dollar Tree now, I just roll on in and figure out what's going on. And so these books were the most interesting books that I got there. I remember one of my very first Dollar Tree reads. I got a lot of Black authors, and I was super shocked, and they were like super popular books as well. So this first book is Where the Grass is Green and the Girls Are Pretty. She was also the author of The Devil Wears Prada. Book 125. This is no longer the Dollar Tree. They say the Dollar Tree, but it starts at 125. But I got that. Then I got another book, Two Nights in Lisbon by Chris Pavone. Have no clue, but it looks interesting. And then the last book that I got was The Ambassador's Daughter by Pam Janoff. And so I find that the Dollar Tree books are great. Not that they're great, like they're good books, but it's also a great way of introducing yourself to authors that you don't know about, and you don't have to pay a hefty price on books. So these books were $1.25. Now, I love the movie The Devil Wears Prada. I never read the book, but I love the movie. So I said, if I love the movie, let me check out another book that she's written. So this is not a book that I would actually pay like the ticketed price. I'm gonna just be honest, but because it was in the Dollar Tree, I said, hey, why not give it a try? So that was January 26th. Don't talk about my dates. I know what my dates are because the next set of books was January 27th. So January 27th, I had that day off. It was a virtual day for us. We worked, and then so after work, I went to the bookstore just to get out the house because I had been in the house all day, and I wanted to get out the house. So I went to my local Barnes & Noble, and I went purposely because I didn't realize it was going to be out. But this was one of the books on the list that I wanted to buy at its due date, and this was the January book, Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkinson. She wrote Black Cake. So when I went to the bookstore, I was like, oh, I'm definitely getting Good Dirt. It's out a couple of days before I thought it was going to be out. So I got that. Then my book club was reading The Trees by Percival Everett. I mentioned this in one of my shorts. I actually finished this book. Really good book, really deep. Yeah, I did it by audio. I'm glad I did. I think it would have been a little harder for me to read, but it's also one of those books I do want to read now that I know the essence of the book. So that was the book I got that day. And then they were still having 50% off hardcovers. And so I didn't realize this was coming out. And it's King, A Life. 50% off. This author also wrote Ali. So I guess they're into writing biographies. Jonathan Edge, I think. Edge. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But I got that. And then I got, since I saw another book, Undiplomatic, How My Attitude Created the Best Kind of Trouble. She was the former White House Social Secretary, Deisha Dyer. So I was like, yeah. So that was a good book day. And actually all those books were by Black authors, which is always awesome. And then I had a day off. That was January 29th in honor of Lunar New Year. And I was near another Dollar Tree. Look, get up off me. These books is coming, okay? We buying these books. These books are $1.25. We're doing the thing. So I actually been seeing this book in the bookstore and I wanted to buy it, but I was like, I'm not sure. It's called The Paris Bookseller. And I'm also into books that talk about books in bookstores. So I was like, definitely got to get that. This is a sequel. It's called The Psalm of Storms and Silence. It's the sequel, so I'm actually interested in getting the first book. And to be totally honest, I got it because it was a Black author. Roseanne Brown is an immigrant from West Africa, nation of Ghana, and a graduate of the University of Maryland. And so I'm going to look for the first book in the series. Then The Spectrum of Hope, an optimistic and new approach to Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. So I'm a clinician, so I'm interested in this type of work as well. So that's another book. Also written by a woman, and she works here in New York at Downstate Medical Center. So I thought that was cool. Then another YA book, Reggie and Delilah's Year of Falling. I think it's like a love story, YA love story. So, and this is also when I finish these books, especially the YA books, I can get to like my students who are into reading as well. So, not all lost. Then Stacey Abrams, you know who that is. You should. Rules of Engagement. Writer of writing as Selena Montgomery. So, love is a game of chance in this romantic suspense novel by the best time-selling author and American politician and activist Stacey Abrams, writing under the name of Selena Montgomery. That's her pen name. And then the last book, I'm not gonna butcher this author's name, but the name of the book is Glory, and it's a Black woman. You see her name. I do not want to butcher her name. She is an author of We Need New Names, which was a finalist for the book prize and won the Penn Hemingway Award. She grew up in Zimbabwe and now lives in the United States. So, new author to me. And so, here we are. So that was my Dollar Tree books. So that was January 29th, the day I had off. Whew, these are a lot of books. I'm sorry, y'all. But thanks for sticking with me. This book, I was so excited to purchase because the day I purchased it, which was February 3rd, was the day of her kickoff in Harlem at the Schomburg Museum, Harlem Rhapsody. Victoria Christopher Murray, she's actually super funny. This was a great author tour. Anytime I can get into an author's tour and get their book at the same time is wonderful. But she wrote a book about, she's also wrote The Personal Librarian. And this was about the lady who really started the Harlem Renaissance. She was the person that got Langston and them to really write and really contribute to the Harlem Renaissance. She was a teacher from Washington, D.C. Her name is Jessie Redmond Fawcett. And this is her story. Most people wouldn't know who she was. When you think of the Harlem Renaissance, you truly think of all the writers and the musicians and those people, but you don't think about the people behind the scenes that get the organizations started and have the backing and footing to get these authors and these writers and these musicians to come to Harlem and present their work and start a whole movement. So I'm super excited to read this. I'm probably going to read this during Women's History Month specifically, but I'm going to read this. This is going to be one of those books that kind of jumped the line of books I wanted to read. And then while I was there, this book was half price as well at the Schomburg, and it is by Hugh B. Price, This African American Life. And so his experience. And then on February 5th, I think I was back near, now I have this thing with anytime I see a Dollar Tree, I like pull over. And so this is a new author to me. I bought this book, or not this book, but a book by him for a student one time. Brad Thor. It's a thriller called Black Ice. He writes a lot of suspense, political, thriller, mystery type books. So I saw this one, so I picked that up. And then my last purchase, Oh My Lord, was on February 13th. So once again, finishing up a series. So I went into the bookstore looking specifically for Scythe and Spiral. So the follow up to Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark. But a couple of days before, when I knew I was going to buy this book, I was looking for my Butcher and Blackbird. I thought I purchased it, so I never purchased it. So I wound up getting the first book because I had Leather and Lark, and I was going to get this because this was part of the trilogy. And so I said, oh no, I don't have it. So I bought the two, and then I wound up buying Laura Nolan's This Song Is Not For You. She also wrote If Only I Had Told Her, and If Only Had Been With Me. I don't think this is a part of the duology. Duology is not a part of duology, but it is this author's work, and I wanted to get another read book by them. So yes, that is a lot of books. I'm not going on a book buy. Let's be honest. I'm not going on a book buy, but I'm trying to only buy the books that are continuations in the series that I'm reading or I'm planning on reading. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 books I've bought since January. I think that's a lot. But we're not going to judge. We're going to sit into this. We're going to organize these. We're going to put these up. And we're going to live our life. And we're going to read. So currently I'm reading The Davenports. And so when I get off of this video, I am going to read so I can get through that book and read more of my books. I am off this week, so I plan on reading about 3 books this week because I have the time to do so. But this is what it is. Book hauls, vlogs, all the things. Maybe I'll do a vlog with some of the books that I'm reading, especially this week since I have the time. But this is me, Books Uncorked and Caffeinated. It's Gayla. Do all of the things. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.